Today I wanted to show off my custom lightsaber that I got from Space Junk Sabers back in October of 2021. This video is going to serve as a showcase of the saber as well as a guide for the future owner since I'm going to be trading this for a different saber. I'll be showing you a video of that lightsaber once it arrives. So let's get right into it and let's show off the lightsaber. This is what the outside looks like. It's very, very solid, made of really cool materials. Feels really good in hand as well, got good weight, good heft to it. I really like the grip. This is one of my favorite parts of this entire build. And then it has an open crystal chamber with a Krayt Dragon Pearl. That was made by a glass maker. I don't exactly remember who that glass maker was, but he made a really, really cool marble that shines light through it. Here's a better look at the inside of the crystal chamber. You can sort of see the details. I really like the pillar there. Then you've got the mesh in the back. And then I did actually have a few things to add to this lightsaber when he was making it for me. He made pretty much all of it on his own, but I had a few different adjustments that I had to make. One of that is this little plate in the back, because before it was just plain and it looked kind of off. So I had him add something back here. He added this plate, and I think it was really, really cool. And then here you've got a shroud. Before it didn't have a shroud. It was just the tube with no heat bluing here. So I had him do some heat treatment and add a shroud to it. And then he went ahead and added this really cool detail back here. I think it came out really, really well. You can see the inside here. I've got a lens on top of the Neopixel connector. And then in the back we have the speaker. This is some mesh. You can't see the speaker because it's actually a Smuggler's Outpost dark side base speaker, 28mm. So it's black, blends in. If it was the other one, which I had originally, it was silver and you could see it through, and it wasn't, or see through this and see it. It didn't look quite as nice. This one blends right in. And then this is a triangle sort of D-ring, triangle ring I guess. And then I guess I'll go right into operating it. It's been a long time since I've worked with this saber. It's just been sitting in my display case for a long time. The reason I'm trading it now is because there's really no place for this in my collection. I'm trying to get as many movie lightsaber replicas as possible, and custom sabers don't really fit in at the moment. This was actually my second ever install that I ever did for a Neopixel lightsaber. And you can kind of see it reflected in how this was installed and the chassis and whatever. It's got a few discrepancies, a few things that I did not make perfect at all, but it all works. As you can see, I've got a little bit of wording here. It would just focus. I believe this says Space Junk Sabers. This side should say Avery's Workshop or something like that. And then back here we've got some set screws. This one is for the chassis retention. If you get the right size, let me get the right size Allen key here. Tighten that. I forgot to tighten that. I was messing with the config file a little bit. I just added the config file to the SD card is what I was doing. Anyways, this little screw is what holds the chassis in place. This you will never have to mess with, and here I'm addressing the person who's going to be owning it in the future. This just, holds this whole thing together. You don't need to touch that. And then this is what holds the Neopixel connector in place. You also don't need to touch that. This is the blade retention screw, which you will be managing. Other than that, this is the activation button. This is the auxiliary. And then I believe that's about all you need to know. So one of the things I did make a mistake on when I designed this chassis, because it's maybe the third chassis I ever made, so I was still testing things. As you can see, the soundboard is inset or inlaid, whatever the word is. It's actually sitting underneath a shelf that I made in the chassis. It's supposed to sit on top, but I messed up my measurements, so when it sits on top you can't push the chassis in, which is not good, of course. So instead I just pushed it in and it works like it, normal. So let me just show you real quick how you would operate that for when you want to change sound fonts or upload a new config file. You just unscrew this until the chassis is loose. Then you can just pull the chassis out. I guess I didn't loosen it enough. There you go, a little more. Just take it out until you've got the whole thing. And then make sure that there's no battery in there. You can push it. I like pushing it on that side, and it kind of just lifts up the board here. You can use some tweezers too to help you out with it. That's what I do. Let me grab those. You can just grab it, lift it, and then just sort of wiggle it out diagonally. And then there you go. You've got access to your SD card and the micro USB port. And there you go. You can sort of see it. So to put it back in, you just do the opposite. You just put it in at a diagonal, slide it underneath the little lip that's inside the chassis. So you just push it back, push it down, and boom, it's right back in there. Now, what else I have on this is a rumble motor and an LED accent light. The LED accent light, of course, is to light up the Krayt Dragon Pearl. And then the rumble motor is just something I was messing with in the time. This was, what, a year and a half ago or a little more? Something like that. But I was messing with some rumble motors. This is a pretty small one that I have in here, so you can't really feel it that much. But you can always adjust it however you want in the config file. You should be able to see how it works. It's just I have it set as a secondary blade, maybe a third blade, because I believe there's a no blade setting, a blade setting, and then the rumble motor, because I do have this set up with blade detection, which I'll show off. So how you operate this is you take the battery, negative to the spring, positive goes towards the speaker. This is the non-working blade font. I'll just put that on. And then press that. As you can see, it lights it up. You can see the Neopixel pins in there. It does have gesture controls, but it can be a bit finicky with this font in particular, so sometimes it might mess it up. Or it could just be me, because I'm more used to CFX at the moment. I've been working with that a lot, and this is Proffie, so my gestures are all a little bit wonky. Anyways, let's show off the blade detection. Make sure that the blade retention screw is loose. And then you put in the blade. It takes a 1-inch blade. That's the blade detection sound. And then when you take it off, that's the disconnection sound. So how I like to put it in, just so you don't confuse the board, because sometimes if you do it too quickly or something weird happens, it confuses the soundboard. So just push it in all the way, and then push it against something while you screw in the retention screw, and then you'll be all set. Now let's go through all of the different sound fonts I have on here. It's been a long time since I've messed with this, so I don't even know what's on here. So I guess we'll see together. It's pretty neat. This is the battery level indicator. You can see it's all the way up there, and then of course it changes color as it goes down.
I've seen things people wouldn't believe.
I like this one actually quite a lot. I think this is Blade Runner 2049. And you can see the ball changed a little bit, the Krayt Dragon Pearl. It does really well with reds and greens.
Second sister. The dark saber. It belongs to you.
Looks like I mixed around the blade styles so that we can see
Zuko here.
different types. This one's fire, which is pretty nice. rainbow, always a fun one. Here's a look at the crystal actually in the rainbow mode. It's very interesting. Seems like it changes color pretty slowly.
If you will not turn to the dark side, then perhaps she will.
And this is what I was talking about. Green comes out really well.
Dark Jedi. Ancient integration.
Rey Skywalker.
Just a simple wanderer.
And then we're back to where we started. Excuse me, sorry, there's something in my throat. I don't know why it keeps happening, but whenever I make videos, I gotta have water next to me or something. Anyways, that's pretty much everything there is to know about this lightsaber. It's a Proffie v2.2, so it works just like any other Proffie. It's got all the features, it's got all the different controls that you could do. Gesture controls for on and off. It's got tip drag, melt feature, you know, all the localized effects. Localized clashing, etc. So it's got all the cool stuff. And while the install is a little bit wonky, it does work quite well actually. So hopefully the person who's getting this next enjoys it. Can't wait to show you what I get from it. I'll make some videos on that. And who knows, maybe I'll do a new install for it one day. But anyways, that's about everything you need to know about this lightsaber. And I hope you guys enjoyed looking at it. And may the Force be with you all.